Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over 5 Fortnite tips that I wish I had learned earlier. Like the previous video or two I've done similar to this, these tips will be about a variety of different things, and should be simple enough to where they'll likely be helpful even if you're relatively new to the game. But at the same time, it's my hope that even really good players will find at least some of these tips useful as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first tip I want to showcase in this video is an interesting way to take less fall damage in Fortnite. This is mainly useful for situations where you're built 3+ levels into the air, and your structure either gets shot out, or for whatever reason, you have to jump down onto the ground. Right now, I'm built 5 levels up into the air, and if I fall to the ground normally in this situation, I'm going to take a very hefty 50 fall damage. So what most players will do in this situation to mitigate at least some of that fall damage is turbo build a ramp to catch them right as they're about to hit the ground. So now, instead of taking roughly 50 fall damage, you instead take a little less than half of that. However, there's a pretty simple method that a lot of pro players use that builds 2 levels into the air to catch themselves as they're falling. So from 5 levels up, you take 0 fall damage instead of 50 or 23 or anything like that. So what you want to do is, as you're falling, look straight down and turbo build walls. As soon as you either see, hear, or feel them being built, you want to immediately switch to turbo building a floor. So just like that right there. It's kind of hard to describe or even show because you can't actually see my hands, but if you practice it for even a couple of minutes in creative mode, you should be able to get the timing down perfectly. And I'll show it to you guys one more time just for good measure. The next tip in this video is a fairly simple method to place a ramp/pyramid through an enemy wall, and this tip is super useful, especially in box fights. So first, I'll show you guys a quick little clip of how to do it, and then I'll explain when you should use this tip and why it's so powerful. So as you can see, even though the method may look a little complicated, it's actually fairly simple. All you need to do is place a sideways ramp and floor in front of the wall you want to place your structure through. Then you position yourself exactly where I did in the clip, looking at about eye level, and if you've done that correctly, when you place a ramp or pyramid, it'll go straight past the wall and into the 1x1. I promise you, if you spend maybe 2 minutes in creative, you'll be able to do it perfectly pretty much every single time. So this is a trick that you want to use when you're trying to take an enemy's wall when they're turtling in a 1x1. When you place a ramp in their box, it does 2 very advantageous things for you. First, it prevents them from being able to go on the offensive with an edit play while you're trying to take their wall. A lot of good players will wait for you to get comfortable in front of their wall when you're trying to take it, and then when you're least expecting it, they'll make a window or corner edit and hit you with a shotgun shot. But if you place a ramp in front of their face when they're inside a box, they obviously won't be able to make any kind of edit unless they destroy your ramp first. And if they try to do that, then you should be able to easily take their wall. Also, since you've placed your ramp inside of the box, the enemy won't be able to place any of their own structures as a way to protect themselves if you eventually do get their wall. Without a doubt, the most common place someone will make when they get their wall taken is to place down a defensive ramp in front of them and then find a way to escape. But since that play is impossible if you have your ramp down already, your enemy is definitely gonna panic and you'll have every advantage in that fight. Next up, we have what is hands down the simplest tip in this entire video. Honestly, it's less of an actual tip and more like a helpful piece of information that'll probably save your life every once in a while. So when you open a chest in Fortnite, the loot you receive is pretty much entirely random. You're obviously guaranteed a weapon, ammo, item, and materials, but what you specifically get is totally random. However, what a lot of people either don't realize or don't even think about in the first place is that the direction the items come out of the chest is actually not random. Every time you open a chest in a regular game mode in Fortnite, the guaranteed weapon will always exit that chest on the right side. And for some reason, if you don't believe me, here's a quick little clip showcasing that the weapon in the chest is gonna go to the right every single time. So obviously, this is a very situational tip that's mostly only helpful in one specific situation. At the very beginning of games when you and an enemy are right next to a chest and one of you opens it. If you stand on the right side of that chest and the enemy stands towards the middle of it, which most people do, you'll get the weapon every single time. Plus, I guess it can also be used to make sure you nab the weapon when your teammate opens a chest as well, if that's how you roll. So definitely not a game-changing tip by any means, but it's something that not many people know that will probably save your life a few times in your Fortnite career. Moving on, we have probably the best method in the game right now to instantly get inside an enemy's 1x1 box. I know I've showed you a few of these in previous videos, but I truly believe this one is the best since it's the least ping dependent method I've seen. And I'll quickly show you guys a clip in the background here of this happening to Atlantis Kuna in a normal arena game. Despite him turbo building roofs the entire time, the enemy gets right through on his first attempt. So the method is as simple as this. First, you want to get on your enemy's roof and place your own sideways ramp on top of it. Then you want to cut the ramp in half with an edit and pickaxe the enemy's roof one time to make it one swing away from being destroyed. After that, you stand right next to and in the middle of the ramp you cut in half and reset the edit so it goes back to being a full ramp. If you did that correctly, your body will be phasing through the ramp, so when you swing to destroy their roof, you'll glitch right through it even if they're turbo building, and you'll instantly be inside of their box. As I always like to point out, just jumping right inside of someone's box is always going to be a super risky play, so make sure to only use this in situations where you're really desperate for a kill. The final tip of this video has to do with breaking structures and farming materials in Fortnite, but honestly, I think this is more of showcasing a cool and interesting mechanic than it is a super game-changing tip. As I'm sure you guys know, anytime you hit a structure with your pickaxe in Fortnite, a light blue circle will pop up, and anytime you hit that circle, you'll do double the damage to that structure. And just so it isn't too easy, that blue circle moves every time you hit the structure with your pickaxe. However, there's a bit of an odd little method where you make it so that the blue circle actually doesn't move at all. I'll show you a clip in a second, but it's basically as simple as this. When you go to make your first hit on the structure, you want to jump up and as you're falling to the ground, swing and hit towards the bottom of the structure trying to break. I know it's stupid and it really makes no sense, but as you'll see in a second, for some reason it really does work. And as much as I think it's more interesting than it is super helpful, I guess it does make breaking high health objects like the walls of buildings and large trees a little bit easier to destroy. So here's this very odd mechanic in action. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. Out of these 5 tips, I want to know which one you found either the most useful or the coolest. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.